I'm Megan.
I'm Christy.
And we are
Homebrew
Murder Crew.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't know if the editing is going to take it out as background. But Megan got me this cheer up farting fuggler in the shade of grief, and we'll explain that in our full length episode on Thursday. I can't.
If you want to see more of the fuggler, tune into our full length episode. We will show him again and we will explain. But I hope you can
that was a long
that.
one.
Yes, I hope you can hear that.
Yeah, and if you aren't on Patreon or actually our MICROBREWs are on YouTube too, and then you can see him in all his glory. I'll post a Instagram video of him.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Should we leave him on? No, we should cut him out. We should turn him off. Should we turn him off for the episode or just keep him on?
Yeah, keep him on.
Okay.
But then I might laugh a lot during it. Yeah.
That's the thing. So if you guys hear us laughing, because you're probably not going to be able to hear the farts,
just know that
every time we laugh, he farts.
Yeah.
He's farted.
All right. So I got a microbrew for us today. I'm gonna tell you guys the story. I'm gonna cover the case of the disappearance of the Jamison family. So the disappearance and deaths of Bobby Dale Jamison, Sherilynn, Leanne Jamison, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madyson Stormy Star Jamison, remains among the most labyrinthine.
Madyson Stormy Star Jamison.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh.
I know. It's interesting. Yeah, so it's one of the most labyrinthine cold cases in the annals of American criminal justice.
Not the anals?
Not the anals.
Okay.
It could be the annals.
Well.
Annals. A-N-N-A-L-S. Annals, I think. This investigation originating in October of 2009 in the rural landscapes of Oklahoma, traverses a landscape of severe psychological distress, potential narcotics involvement, occult beliefs, and domestic instability. Bobby Jamison, who was 44 in 2009, had been significantly disabled since a vehicular accident in 2003, which left him sorry, just to kind I just want to paint a bit of a picture for you guys about the family themselves, and because it will kind of maybe shed a little bit of light on the disappearance.
Okay.
And then,
the circumstances.
The circumstances, exactly. So Bobby Jamison, who was 44, had been significantly disabled since a vehicular accident in 2003, which left him with chronic, debilitating back pain. Chronic pain of the magnitude often serves as a primary stressor that can catalyze secondary psychological issues, including depression and social withdrawal.
Yeah.
His wife, Sherilynn Jamison, who was 40, was reportedly diagnosed with bipolar disorder and had experienced a profound depressive episode following the sudden death of her sister Martha, who had died from a bee sting on the tongue. A freak occurrence that allegedly shattered Sherilynn's sense of security.
It doesn't take much, I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, M has started saying this.
Oh, no.
Randomly, before he tells you something, it's like, I'll tell you this for free.
Oh, my God. I love that kid.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh, my God.
Anyways.
I bet he got that from you, though.
No, I didn't. I must have got it from some YouTube show or a kid at school or something.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny.
So, in the months leading up to the family's disappearance, the Jamisons exhibited
Megan's stroking out right so hard. Exhibited
symptoms consistent with a fully do or a shared delusional disorder.
Oh.
They informed their
Okay, wait, say that again. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
fully do.
So they exhibited a fully do?
Yeah. So that's a shared do is like is French for two. So,
right. So the whole family.
Well, the parents.
Oh, the parents.
Yeah,
okay,
parents,
sorry. Yeah.
So they shared this delusional disorder. They informed their local pastor that their home was infested with spiritual entities. These claims were not peripheral. They were central to the family's daily life. Bobby Jamison reportedly sought special bullets to combat these entities and claimed to be reading the Satanic Bible in an attempt to understand or repel the ghostly presence in his house. So the last day that anyone reported, that's just to give you kind of an idea of where they were at.
Yes.
In 2009, October 2009. So the last day that anybody had reported seeing the family of three alive was on October 8th, 2009. A couple of people had just saw them during like, you know, the morning or whatever, getting into their car and leaving the house. But it was nothing strange, nothing, you know, happened outwardly to anybody in their that anybody in their family or anybody in their neighborhood saw that like raised any red flags.
Right.
But no one really did anything. Nobody reported the family missing or anything until 8 days after the last time they had been seen, when on October 16, 2009, when two hunters had discovered their white pickup truck abandoned at a remote well pad site in Sandboys Mountains near Red Oak.
And sorry, okay, Red Oak. So where did this take place? Oklahoma, right. Okay.
Yeah. So like they just kind of like did their normal daily routine. And then like when investigators went back and stuff, everybody was like, yeah, I saw them on the 8th. Yeah. And nobody saw them at all between the 8th and like after the 8th. Nobody saw them. Everybody was just like, oh yeah, weird. Like we didn't but nobody reported them missing. Nobody was concerned about them. Like they hadn't said they were going anywhere.
Yeah.
But people were just like, oh, like whatever. They just kind of went on with their daily lives until their truck was found on October 16th, 2009. Two hunters had discovered their white pickup in a abandoned remote well pad in the near the Sandboys Mountains near Red Oak, which is a forest in Oklahoma. The truck was found locked from the outside, but the keys were in the ignition on the inside.
Yeah.
Investigators also found a cluster of items that suggested the family did not intend to like a long-term absence from the vehicle. And the family's dog was found alive inside the truck, though severely malnourished and dehydrated after 8 days without food.
My God.
An envelope containing $32,000 was discovered hidden under the driver's seat. Both parents' photo IDs were found. Wallets, Sherilynn's purse, and a GPS unit were all found just like in the truck, just left there. They also found, strangely enough, an 11-page letter written by Sherilynn expressing intense resentment towards her husband, Bobby, and describing him as a loner and a hermit. It was an 11-page, like, just letter about how much she hated her husband, basically. Like, it was just kind of random. So,
they were together and she had this letter on her?
Yeah.
Weird.
And he had $32,000. Like, it's just really bizarre.
Yeah.
Like at this point, they were like, nobody reported them missing. The truck was just found, and it was clear that the family hadn't been to the truck in a long time based on the state of the dog.
Right. Yeah.
Who had been locked in the truck from the outside, but the keys were inside the car.
Right.
Like, it's super strange.
It is strange. I'm glad the dog was still alive.
Yeah. So the most significant chronological evidence was recovered from digital devices found inside the truck. So the GPS system, like I said, as well as a couple photos that they found on Bobby Jamison's BlackBerry cell phone. 2009, BlackBerries were still awesome. So the first picture that kind of gave them an idea of their last known whereabouts was a photo that was dated October 8th, which was the day that they were last seen. And the photo was taken at about 12:53 p.m. And it was an image of the oil well sign that confirmed the family had reached their intended remote destination. It was like they got there and they took a picture of the sign to the well site, and then they went to the well site. It was really strange. It was like that was where they were planning on going.
So strange.
And then the second photo was a hillside photo. So at 2:47 p.m. the same day. So this was about 2 hours later. So sorry. The final image known of Madyson Jamison was taken. She was standing on a rocky incline about 100 yards from where the truck was. They were able to find where she was in the photo. Forensic analysis of the photo shows that Madyson, she had her arms crossed in a defensive posture and a distressed expression on her face. Some family members believe that the photo was taken by a third party, as the perspective of Madyson's expression suggested she was looking at someone she did not trust. But obviously they have no idea. So it kind of gave them a rough idea of date and time of when they at least last had their phones on them. So obviously, immediately following the discovery of the truck on October 16, 2009, investigators began processing the Jamisons' residence, as they weren't able to immediately find them in the vicinity, and the state of the dog suggested that they were missing at this point, because they believed that they wouldn't just leave their dog like that, locked in their truck with all of their personal belongings and $32,000 in cash. So the investigators began processing their residence in Eufaula, Oklahoma. The first significant clues emerged from the family's own security measures and personal beliefs. The events of the day of the disappearance can be reconstructed with a high degree of precision due to a combination of their home surveillance, telecommunication logs, and GPS data. Which, let's be real here, 2009, it's very weird for a family to have such a high tech surveillance
that
in their
stuff
home.
is pretty rudimentary at that point.
Yeah, it's one of those like people that have surveillance like that in their homes are usually kind of paranoid. Right? Or worried about somebody coming to their house. Fortunately, there isn't a lot of detail from family and friends and stuff about any concerns about them, other than the ones that I mentioned about them being a little bit strange about but they kind of isolated themselves from everybody. So the only person that really had some insight was their pastor, because obviously they trusted him. But so the family, it was a low resolution home surveillance system, but again, 2009, right? Technology definitely was not even like this. It provided the earliest evidence of their psychological state anyways. The footage, which was time-stamped on October 8th between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the morning that they had departed, and the photos were taken later that day, captured the family packing their white truck. And they obviously it was the parents, but they were in a trance-like state. They were just going back and forth from the house to the truck, to the truck, without any kind of emotion
or
it was
anything,
really
or
strange.
talking to each other. It's just we have a task, and very robotic almost.
So Sherilynn and Bobby were recorded making approximately 20 trips between the house and the truck without speaking to one another. They appeared dissociated. Sometimes,
I mean, she did write a 11-page letter to herself about how much she despises her husband,
resented him. And then they would sometimes be seen staring into space or carrying the same item repeatedly.
Looking up and staring into space, or
just staring straight ahead. And carrying the same items repeatedly. Sherilynn was sorry. seen placing a brown briefcase into the vehicle. This item, along with her .22 caliber handgun, was never recovered. The handgun wasn't found in the house, and it wasn't found in the truck. This suitcase is the only thing that they were able to determine that they witnessed them putting into the truck that was no longer in the truck when they found it. So,
interesting.
That's something to think about. But so this led investigators to believe that it contained sensitive materials, more critically to their immediate goals than the cash they had left behind.
And the 11-page letter about how she resents her husband.
Yeah. Investigators also found in the home a cryptic spray painted warnings on a storage container at the property that said, quote, 3 cats killed to date by people in this area, ... Witches don't like these black cat killed, unquote. Additionally, the discovery of a satanic Bible or a witch's Bible was also found within the home, which supported reports from the family's pastor that they believed that they were engaged in spiritual warfare against entities in their house. So, following their departure from Yafula around 9 a.m., the family traveled towards Red Oak in the San Boys Mountains. Their movements during the window of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. were punctuated by several phone calls that suggested they were coordinating a meeting. So at 8:55 a.m., so immediately before they departed, calls from the home to an out-of-state number, primarily land, obviously left them confused. Like, they didn't know who they were calling. Obviously, again, 2009, the details were limited. But at 9:18, there was a 30-minute phone call from Bobby to a contact from their area. This long duration call suggested negotiations or detailed instructions. At 12:42 p.m., an 11-minute call to a church contact, so a potential final reaching out for a spiritual or social support, which they don't have any proof of this. They're just speculating at this point. At 12:53 p.m., first digital record was taken, so the photo on the BlackBerry of the sign. So that's when they arrived at the well, the well site. At 1:38 p.m., a 2-minute call to a contact in the phone saved as Lady on the Mountain.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
So this led them to speculate that a local individual familiar with the terrain. And then at 1:55 p.m., multiple voicemail checks. Maybe waiting for a final call. But the Lady on the Mountain contact is a pivotal mystery in the original phase of the investigation. The call only lasted about 2 minutes. It's consistent with a setting the location contact where a local guide or seller provides final directions to a meeting spot in a rugged terrain. GPS data recovered from their devices indicate that after parking the truck, the family ascended to a nearby hill. The timeline here is critical. So at the 2:47 p.m., that was when the photo was taken of Madyson Jamison on the hillside. And then at 3 p.m., GPS records show the family returning to the truck before the tracking either stopped or the device was left behind.
This feels like the most fucked up Facebook marketplace transaction ever.
I know. But the fact that they returned to the vehicle's vicinity before disappearing suggested that whatever happened occurred near the truck rather than they simply getting lost during their hike.
Okay, so do we know, what is the terrain out there? Could they see footprints or anything like that?
No, it's pretty. I would say I don't know.
Rocky,
I didn't look this up, but based on the photo that they posted, you can see the photo. We'll share it on our socials of Madyson. It's similar to being out in the mountains in Kananaskis, rocky, like rocky, gravelly, but
because I'm just wondering,
really
if there's
a clear path,
if there's any indication that the dog was out of the truck at any point. Did they walk back
Not
to the
that they
truck to put the
said.
dog in? I don't know if that would mean anything.
No, there's
but
no,
yeah.
they weren't able to find any. So I'll tell you in a minute why they weren't able to find any
Okay.
evidence because, so actually we're there right now.
Oh, perfect.
So, obviously, following the discovery of the truck, they also had over 300 volunteers and law enforcement officers conduct an exhaustive search of the surrounding 30 square mile radius around the truck. Despite having horses, ATVs, helicopters with thermal imaging and cadaver dogs, no trace of the family was found. But it was heavily raining in the area shortly after the disappearance, which obviously hindered tracking efforts and washed away the scent trails for the dogs.
Yeah.
But despite the intensity of the search, not a single sign was found of the family at all. Nothing.
Aliens.
The truck was just like it was just dropped there. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So that was it. The case went cold. They had nothing. They had no leads. The family hadn't spoken to anybody about any kind of plans to leave,
to
or
visit a
to
well
meet
site
anybody,
and
to
never
go,
come
even
back.
go on a hike that day.
Yeah.
Like nobody, nothing. So the case went cold until November 16th, 2013. So 4 years after their disappearance, 2 hunters scouting for deer located skeletal remains of 2 adults and 1 child in a remote, rugged area of Latimer County. So the remains were found approximately 2.7 aerial miles northwest of where the truck had been abandoned. And it was within the search radius.
Yeah.
So the skeletal remains were found lined up, face down in the dirt, a configuration that many investigators find
Indicative of?
Yes,
Yeah.
of an execution style event rather than a death from exposure. The smaller body was reportedly had a flower found near the remains, though its origin, whether it was natural versus placed, remains a mystery. A small hole was noted in the skull of the adult male skeletal remains. However, due to the extreme state of decomposition and the environmental scavenging, the medical examiner could not definitively confirm it was a gunshot wound. But it wasn't until July 3rd, 2014. So this is few months, so it was November 16th, the remains were found. It wasn't until July 3rd, 2014.
So like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's over 6 months.
At the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office
Yeah.
used a dental comparison to positively identify the remains as Bobby, Sherilynn, and Madyson Jamison. The cause and manner of death were officially listed as inconclusive due to the lack of soft tissue. So the sequence of discoveries has led to several conflicting theories. Obviously, the case has gone nowhere.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have a cause of death. They don't know if it was accidental, environmental, murder, suicide, which, like, who knows? But a lot of theories have obviously come up.
Suicide seems like all things considered of what you've said of like what's happened, what the family's gone through, their traumas and everything like that. That one seems right now
it does
the most, other than aliens.
But they were perfectly lined.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like it's almost like they're kind of like the parents are definitely in on it, but the child's not. You have this picture of her. How old is she at that point in that picture?
Sorry, 6.
6. Yeah. That's quite young to truly understand what your parents may be talking about, but it's not young, and like it's not so young that you don't have an intuition about things or people, right?
Of course.
So I mean, I have a 5, almost 6-year-old boy, and he's very intuitive, right? So to me, it almost seems like they have this plan. She knows what they're planning. She does not feel comfortable. She's, she knows she's supposed to trust them, but she can't. Maybe that's why she looks the way she does in the photo. And then
That's
he
very
maybe
possible.
has them lay down in a certain specific way, like, this is how we're going to save ourselves. This is
Yeah.
how we're going to meet our other child again. And we're going to all be back together as a
Yeah.
family. Bang, bang. And then he lays down and bangs himself.
Yeah.
You know?
That was my theory as well. And that is probably obviously, in my opinion, the most logical one. But I
Yeah.
do want to share some of the other ones
Yeah.
because like there's a lot of mystery around the family. And a lot of just like bizarreness. Like the fact that they would leave their dog and not like in a situation like that, I feel like you wouldn't take your dog with you. You either would
Why
have
wouldn't you
left
just
it
leave
at
him at
home or given
home?
it to somebody else.
Or just let it run. Like, let it out when you
Yeah.
leave and be like,
And
bye.
taking the money, like what's the point in taking the money if you're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
if you're planning on killing yourself and your family? Like it's very bizarre.
I mean, unless just because due to their paranoia, maybe they just had it tucked there in their truck for some time, like just
Mhm.
because their trust issues. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's hard
'Cause,
to
like-
it's hard to like definitively know that they specifically took it and put it in the truck for that very day.
That's true.
You know?
But the other thing is that like a 3-mile radius
Mhm.
from a known point, so the truck covers nearly 30 square miles.
Mhm.
This is a large area, and the density of the search and the use of thermal imaging should have theoretically detected a heat signature of
Mhm.
the family if they were still alive, and the cadaver dog should have been alerted to the remains if they were deceased and
Mhm.
exposed. So the fact that they were not found in the 4 years
That is
that led
curious.
to it led to two primary theories. So one, the delayed dump theory.
Mhm.
So the family was abducted and killed somewhere and their remains were returned to the area later, like
Yep.
years later. Or environmental shielding. The remains were in a ravine or under heavy bush that masked the scent for the dogs, and the heat of thermal cameras combined with the heavy rains that occurred, often shortly after the disappearance, which may have hindered the tracking. But some of their more like some of the other theories that have come up based on stuff that people did know about the family was the one of them was a drug deal gone wrong. The
Mhm.
Sandboys Mountains were known as a region for methamphetamine production. Proponents of the theory points to the $32,000 as buying money and Jamison's gaunt appearance as evidence of their own use or involvement.
But why the fuck are you bringing your entire family to that and your
It's
dog?
strange, yeah.
Like, why bring a child and a dog and like
Yeah.
one person can go out and do a drug deal?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, unless you're so far gone, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like
So-
that tracks for like paranoia if you're like, and to have like a heavily secured house and everything.
Yeah.
That tracks for that, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, that would explain the trance-like behavior of the parents, and it
Yeah.
also explains why the family might have been lured to the remote location by
Mhm.
someone they thought that they trusted, the Lady of the Mountain.
Yeah.
But police found no evidence of drug paraphernalia in their home. Furthermore, drug dealers typically would take the money.
True. Yeah.
Leaving $32,000 in the truck is contrary to the profit-driven motive
And then
of
like
narcotics
probably like
crimes.
torch the vehicle and
Yeah.
like why is the dog there? You know,
Let the
like
dog
why leave all
loose,
that
like,
stuff?
yeah, or killed the dog.
Yeah.
So another one is a domestic homicide, murder suicide,
Yeah.
like we thought. So this theory is that Sherilynn, fueled by her bipolar disorder and resentment of Bobby, as evidenced by her 11-page hate letter, she
Yeah.
was the one who killed the family than
Well, it could
herself.
be, yeah.
That would explain the missing gun in the letter. Sherilynn's mental state was clearly unstable. If it was a murder-suicide, however, the weapon should have been found at the scene of the remains or fairly close to
Yes.
it. The gun remains missing. Additionally, it is difficult for one person to orchestrate the side-by-side positioning of three bodies before killing themselves in the same, like being in the same perfect row.
Yeah.
Another theory was that the Bob Dean Jamison conflict. So Bobby's father, Bob Dean Jamison, had a history of threatening the family. Bobby had a protective order against him, against his own father.
What the fuck?
And was suing him for money from their joint business. So this provides a clear motive of revenge and financial gain. Bob Dean was described as involved in meth and criminal activity as well.
Oh, maybe he's the lady on the hill.
Yeah. While Bob Dean was reportedly in poor health during the time and hospitalized around the time of the disappearance, eventually dying in December of 2009. While he could have hired somebody to commit the crime, no evidence of a hit was ever uncovered.
Yeah, but I mean, how easy is that to uncover, you know?
Another theory that they have is the white supremacist Kenneth Bellows lead. So the Jamison family had a violent falling out with a handyman by the name of Kenneth Bellows after he discovered Sherilynn's Native American heritage. Sherilynn had forced him off of the property at gunpoint. So
get it, girl.
Yeah, Bellows had a direct grievance and was part of a group known as the United Knights that reportedly had a hit list with Sherilynn's name on it.
Such a lame fucking club name.
Yeah, so Bellows was questioned by police and his alibi was verified. Although he remains a person of interest to this day in many unofficial investigations, including this one. So the last theory we have here is the occult and a spiritual warfare. So this theory focuses on the Satanic Bible and the witch's message on the container and the family's belief in ghosts. Some believe that the family was targeted by a local cult and their own attempt to exorcism led them to a realistic suicide and accidental death. So this aligns with the family's documented beliefs in the strange flower that was positioned on Madyson's body. But there is no physical evidence of a cult operating in the area with the capacity to abduct and execute a family without leaving a forensic file. So, sorry, when the evidence is synthesized into a fluid narrative, a pattern or a stage or coerced movement emerges. The Jamison family likely traveled to the mountains to meet a contact, possibly this lady on the mountains or a landowner, regarding possibly the purchase of a 40-acre plot. They brought $23,000 to facilitate a cash transaction, a common practice in off-grid land deals. However, the trance-like state captured in the home suggests that they were already under significant psychological or chemical duress.
That's the thing. And then what were they packing in their vehicle?
It's no idea. And who knows what was in that suitcase? It was never found.
Yeah.
Yeah. The state of
that would make me assume that this lady on the hill took the suitcase.
Yeah.
But then why is there $23,000 in an envelope?
32,000.
32,000, sorry.
Well, at the well site, they were likely met by one or more individuals who coerced them out of the vehicle. And the fact that the truck was locked from the outside with the keys inside suggests that the assailant secured the vehicle to prevent the dog from escaping and didn't know where didn't search for the cash and then couldn't get back in because the keys are locked inside.
Dumbass.
The briefcase and gun were taken by that person, which may have contained the actual target of the perpetrator, perhaps more cash, narcotics, or documents that the assailant needed to destroy. I don't know. The family was then led to the final location where they were executed and left in the row. The failure of the initial search team to find the remains, despite their proximity, remains the most glaring anomaly. Suggesting either an incredible series of environmental hurdles or that the bodies were not there during the initial search. The most significant takeaway for the current cold case investigators is the discrepancy between the $32,000 left in the truck and the missing briefcase. This suggests that the motive was not a simple robbery, but something more specific and perhaps more personal. The lady on the mountain remains the most viable yet unexhausted lead in identifying the individual who lured the family to the mountains because it was clear based on all the phone calls that they were meeting someone.
And so they can't track her phone number or anything?
No, they don't. Yeah, without the discovery of new physical evidence such as the missing gun, the briefcase, the case will likely remain in its current state of unexplained death.
Wow.
The Jamison family remains a tragic testament to the interaction of mental health, the intersection of mental health crisis and the inherent danger of the remote, lawless pockets of the American wilderness. The last image of Madyson Jamison on the hillside continues to serve as the definitive symbol of this mystery, a moment frozen in time that suggests a profound and looming danger that the camera could capture, but the justice system has yet to explain.
Oh my God.
But
that poor little girl.
Like,
and the other girl stung by a bee on the tongue and dying.
Sherilyn's sister, like, it's so tragic. But there you have it. Like, there's nothing like really on this case.
That's crazy. Like, I don't know where you come up with these fucking cases, Megan, but like lately you've been on fire, bringing like the most interesting shit.
You know what? Like, I listen to a lot of really fucked up things.
God, you got to share where you're getting this from because
I sure will.
But I mean, we don't need to be fighting for the same episodes to do. But anyways, thank you so much for that. I guess it's only when you touch them.
Yeah.
I'll burp my baby.
Look at his little butt. He's got a little
button butt.
Little button.
It's just a little button. And then this is I bought one from Walmart today. Just a little guy.
He's so cute.
So he's just a little tiny guy. But this guy, look at that. Anyways.
Well, thank you for listening to my microbrew.
And we will see you or talk to you on Thursday.
On our full-length episode.
You betcha.
All right.
Okay, bye.